Okay, so in case you wonder, also this whole set is the Thalia Theater, one of the big theaters here in Hamburg. The play in the summer is The Three Musketeers, and I think the people here we are presenting, as well as the startup, sometimes you feel like you have to just kind of do it, go out there, hang brotherly together, and fight the good fight, so to say. Up here next is Daniela. Where are you? Okay, so Daniela from Changers, changing her business model here and there, and now giving us an update of how you will help us make mobility sustainable and help us make this a better place. Daniela, please.
All right. Actually, I do love to start with this slide and threaten people that I'm going to talk about climate change for the next 50 minutes. Everybody kind of like cringes and go like, oh no, please not again. So this is a topic that I think is already very, very well stretched and communicated. On the other side, we have these kind of graphics that, well, at the end show and display very, very well that there is something that we are kind of like doing like the biggest real life experiment when it comes to a chemical basis. So we're doing something that if this would be my financial plan, people like investors would be throwing money at me and I couldn't get away anymore. So this is something that it's not about if it's gonna come, it's about how big an impact are we gonna have. And what I'm always kind of like puzzled about is how, in mobile, we started talking about mobility. So basically, how calm we are regarding this kind of situation, this kind of threats. It's going to be like a time of maybe 20, 30, 50 years, but it's something really imminent. And why actually are we not gonna getting into action? And come on, there we go. Actually, a good friend of mine, Tarek, sort of gave me an answer to this, or a first impression. Tarek, being the good friend he is, he posted this 2 weeks ago. He got to travel with a couple of climate scientists to Greenland, and he posted this like really emotional post about him standing in front of this glacier and crying because it wouldn't be there in a year when he would, if he would come back. And he talked about this being for him a life-changing experience. And and then I go back to this slide and go like, dude, what kind of information do you need anymore? I mean, it's already there, so why do you actually have to go there and see it in order to sort of get an impact into your life? And so this is something that standing here and thinking, and basically all our business is about how do I actually motivate people to do things that maybe are not in their focus right now. I thought, okay, like shipping everybody to Greenland is not really a viable solution. And how do I actually get these kind of impact, or basically how do I actually get people moving? And if the impact is going to be feelable for all of us, it might be too late to actually already start changing things. Like really actually impacts in your daily life. Things are going to get much harder. And so actually what we are looking into in Changers is a lot of habit research, and actually looking into how do you actually kind of like connect this hardness, which is habit. And bad news, old habits die hard. This is how our brain is modeled. So basically it is about our brain is connected in a way that we can easily and quickly go back to learned behavior. This is an evolutionary, or this was important in evolutions. Right now it's like really, really hurting us because we are, it's really, really hard for us to get some meaningful change across. So again, so we have like this basically this psychological and physiological, and actually it's like our brain works restrictions. And so we are thinking, so what could be possible ways, and how do you actually motivate people to get going? And again, if you force somebody to do something, if you blame them, if you go with a negative thing, the best possible outcome you could get. Have you ever tried to force a toddler to eat vegetables? So basically the likelihood of your kitchen table getting a war zone and everything becoming a politicum is like really high. So basically that's like the best possible way in order to kind of like get people not to do what you want. So one of the most important things I think when talking about change, about behavior, about habits, is a positive reinforcement. So actually kind of like connecting things. So basically by, for example, making you chuckle with the bad habits die hard slide, I might have achieved that you guys are going to remember this a little bit better because it's connected to a positive emotion. You were laughing. So this is something that our brain basically is or works best when it feels good, when it has fun, and when it kind of like it's connected to positive emotions. So everything which is positive actually works much better. Come on, slide. There you go. Next thing actually is playfulness. So if we can do things in a way that actually don't look for us as work, again, we have a much higher possibility to actually have a much greater outcome of what we want. And, oh, sorry. Oh, come on. Third thing is it has to impact you basically in your everyday life, because habits actually is something that forms and is formed every day in your everyday life. So if you have to do things too seldomly, the question of actually how much impact it's going to have in your life, it's just going to be much smaller. So actually, so this is kind of like the thinkings about what we, or basically the precondition about where we are coming from. And so applying this to what we do, except thinking about like bad habits, is we have built a mobile application. We are using people's smartphone, which actually people already have with them. And we looked into the topic of how can I actually motivate people to just change the way they move, they commute to work, or wherever they are. So actually, how can I motivate people to maybe once in a while leave the car at home and just take a bike or take public transport, etc. So basically, it's all about incentivizing sustainable behavior, sustainable mobility. This thing is, I think, the battery is kind of out. Talking about energy. There you go. Very simple. So we have the. Oh, okay. Oh my God, this is awesome. It's like, is this with everything here? Is this like instantaneous Wunscherfüllung, however you say that in English? So basically what you have here is a mobile application. So this, what this thing does is it measures your mobility type. It can see how you commute. And thank you very much. And regarding to whatever kind of mobility type you have, you get so-called Recoins, bonus points. So on the one side, you basically get like a real bonus point. You have like kind of like this nice thing about seeing what kind of impact actually it has. We always show the CO2 savings or the CO2 emissions with it. You then actually, of course, about like the much stretched term of gamification. We have a ranking which actually works amazingly good. I'm always astonished. If you put a little number in front of people's name, they go crazy. And this is something that it's really nice to see, and it's really simple, and it works really well. So the closer your peer group is that you can measure in, the bigger it is. So for example, in our office right now, people are driving 20-30 kilometers every day or every second day with their bike, because one started it, so actually it's like, I have to do it too, so. It really kind of like impacts, and you're changing in the way you behave. So this is something that works on a personal basis. But then what we do is this is basically our first client. We have started a challenge with a company or basically what we do is we offer this application to companies in order to do two things. So one is address healthcare systems. So basically actually people do something for themselves by just taking a bike to work or walking or doing something in between, which is fitness related. And on the other side, there's an impact to the environment. And so we try to kind of like combine these both benefits on these terms. And of course, then again, there is a company internal competition. So we have the different locations. So right now, Frankfurt and Munich, I think, are battling and like really being like every day somebody else is in front. And so this is something that we see that it works and it makes people think and rethink what they do. So there is the first thing is there is like a consciousness about that, and then actually there is an initial change of behavior, but actually how do you get people to not try this out? It's a nice gimmick, you do that 2 weeks and then you forget about that. And that's something that we try to put in. We actually give people something for their behavioral change. So they like really earn these so-called Recoins. And they can spend them then actually for things that matter for them. Might it be a free lunch in the cafeteria, in the company cafeteria, or might it be some purchase somewhere, or might it be, I don't know, an iTunes card, whatever actually gets people moving. And this is something that we see, or actually with Ernst & Young it is, they plant a tree every 100 kilometers they have driven. And then actually they have like their tree counter there, and they want to plant an Ernst & Young forest. So these kind of things also work. And so we have started with the topic of mobility, but actually I see myself more as a motivational tool when it comes down to everything which is smart. Because most of these topics actually need us as users, as consumers, as citizens, to change our behavior, to actually adapt to these new conditions. And mostly cities actually are kind of like puzzled, how do we actually get people to do things, to adapt things, to actually go out of the past they have already in it. And so this can be healthcare, this can be energy production, this can be actually also like civic things, this can be nutrition. So these can all be points that at some point are measurable. That's as far as the most important thing. We really want to work with hard data, hard facts. So I don't know, for example, for cities we could, or what we're doing right now is that you earn during rush hour from 7 to 9, you earn more points, or you can use, you can earn more points if you go when it rains or something like that, you know. So basically all of these kind of things where you kind of like, again, incentivize and motivate people to do things and steer them into a certain direction by just giving them more or less for something. And and so basically what right now we're calling these Recoins, these renewable energy coins, we're calling them bonus points, but actually we want to go one step further and already go into a direction where we go, this is a digital currency, so we allow people to exchange this. And the idea behind is to actually build a digital currency which is based on your behavior and on your social value of your behavior. And so basically these are the ideas we're playing with. At the moment they are just bonus points that you can exchange for things that people give you, but this is basically then the next step where we want to go. And thank you very much for your attention.